Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by dark forests and misty mountains, there lived a female vampire named Isabella. She was known to be the most beautiful and mysterious woman in the village, and many men would try to win her heart, but she would never give them the time of day. Isabella was born a vampire and had lived for centuries. Her long life had made her tired of love and relationships, and she had come to believe that she would never find true love. One day, a young blacksmith named Benjamin moved into the village. He was handsome, strong, and had a kind heart. Benjamin was well known for his incredible skills in forging weapons and armor. Isabella and Benjamin crossed paths when she went to the blacksmith to have her sword sharpened. She was immediately drawn to his warm smile and sparkling blue eyes. Over the next few weeks, Isabella found herself visiting the blacksmith's shop more and more, always looking for an excuse to talk to Benjamin. Benjamin, on the other hand, was fascinated by Isabella's beauty and grace. He was intrigued by her stories of her long life and was drawn to her like a moth to a flame. As they got to know each other, they realized that they had more in common than they ever thought. They both loved the moon, the stars, and the quiet of the night. They would sit together and watch the stars, talking for hours on end. One night, as they sat together, Isabella told Benjamin her biggest secret: she was a vampire. Benjamin was shocked at first, but he didn't fear her. Instead, he reached out and took her hand, telling her that he loved her for who she was and that nothing would ever change that. Isabella was taken aback by his words. She had never met someone who accepted her for who she was, and she finally found the love she had been searching for all her life. From that night on, Isabella and Benjamin were inseparable. They faced challenges together and fell deeper in love with each other every day. They proved that love knows no boundaries and that true love can conquer all. In the end, they lived happily ever after, and the villagers of the small village whispered that the vampire and the blacksmith had created a love that would last forever. Benjamin and Isabella's first date was a night to remember. They had talked about going on a date for weeks, but both were nervous about what the other would think. Benjamin had planned a picnic under the stars, and he had prepared all of Isabella's favorite foods. When she arrived at the location, she was greeted by the sight of a blanket spread out on the grass with a basket filled with delicious treats and a bouquet of flowers. As they sat on the blanket and enjoyed the food, they talked about their interests, their dreams, and their hopes for the future. The conversation flowed easily, and they laughed and smiled the entire time. As the night went on, they lay down and gazed up at the stars, talking about their love for the night sky. They talked about the stars and the constellations, pointing out their favorites and making up stories about them. After what felt like hours, they finally sat up, smiling at each other. Benjamin reached out and took Isabella's hand, and they shared their first kiss under the stars. It was a kiss filled with love and passion, and they both knew that they had found something special. As they walked back to the village, they talked about the amazing night they had just shared and made plans for their next date. Benjamin and Isabella's first date was a magical night that they would never forget, and it marked the beginning of their beautiful love story. Benjamin and Isabella's first fight was a test of their love and commitment to each other. It started on a warm summer evening when Isabella suggested that they go for a walk in the forest. Benjamin agreed, but he was worried because the forest was known to be dangerous after dark. Isabella, who was a vampire, was confident that she could protect both of them. Benjamin, on the other hand, wanted to keep Isabella safe and was reluctant to put her in any kind of danger. As they walked through the forest, they started to argue about whether it was safe to be there or not. Benjamin's concern for Isabella's safety made her feel like he didn't trust her, and she became defensive. Isabella, in turn, accused Benjamin of not understanding her and her abilities. The argument escalated, and before they knew it, they were both shouting at each other. They said things they didn't mean and hurt each other's feelings. In the end, they both sat down, exhausted from the fight. They looked at each other and realized how much they loved each other. They apologized for the hurtful things they had said and promised to never let their love be threatened by a fight again. From that day on, they learned to communicate better and to trust each other's decisions. They also learned that no matter how much they loved each other, there would always be disagreements, but as long as they were together, they could overcome anything. Benjamin and Isabella's first fight was a turning point in their relationship. It made their love stronger and taught them the importance of understanding, trust, and communication. Benjamin and Isabella's last time making love was a bittersweet moment. They had been together for many years, and their love for each other had only grown stronger over time. It was a warm summer night, and they had decided to spend the night in a clearing in the forest. They lay together under the stars, talking about their lives and their love for each other. As they talked, their feelings became more intense, and they could no longer resist the urge to make love. Their passion for each other was palpable, and they moved together in perfect harmony. As they held each other, they whispered words of love and affection. They lost themselves in the moment and forgot about everything else in the world. In the end, they lay together, exhausted but happy. They knew that this moment would be their last, but they also knew that their love would endure forever. Benjamin and Isabella's last time making love was a beautiful expression of their love for each other. It was a moment that they would cherish forever and that would always be a part of their love story. Benjamin and Isabella's love was put to the test when Benjamin accidentally killed Isabella. They had been together for many years, and their love for each other had only grown stronger over time. One day, while Benjamin was working in his blacksmith shop, he was startled by a loud noise. He reached for a nearby weapon to protect himself, not realizing that it was red hot from the forge. When Isabella entered the shop, Benjamin, still in a state of shock, swung the weapon blindly, not realizing that it was Isabella. The weapon hit her, and she fell to the ground, mortally wounded. Benjamin was horrified by what he had done and was filled with grief and regret. He held Isabella in his arms, begging her to forgive him. Isabella, seeing how much Benjamin loved her, forgave him before she died. She told him that their love was stronger than death and that they would be together again someday. Benjamin was heartbroken at the loss of his love, but he took comfort in the knowledge that their love would endure beyond death. He continued to love and cherish Isabella, even though she was no longer by his side. Benjamin's accidental killing of Isabella was a tragedy that tested their love, but it also proved the strength of their love for each other. Despite death, their love would endure forever.